Whoop, whoop. Here I come. Oh, here I come.
Ten details you might have missed in Call of Duty 4.
That is rough. I gotta give myself some credit, I think. The mic quality has definitely gotten better in the last year, but I still sound like shit. The room that I'm currently in right now is currently getting reorganized, so it kind of sounds just as bad as it did back then.
Hi, my name is Cameron Winstead.
Oh.
Like, bro, the mic quality back then actually made me sound like I had some kind of nasal problem. Here are 10 details you might have missed in Call of Duty 4.
Nobody asked for this, and yet I did it anyway.
And boom! Here we are now, 20k subs later. But let's answer some questions about Call of Duty and other games. Who is your favorite COD game? Easily Call of Duty 4. Could be rose-tinted glasses, sure, considering it was my first Call of Duty game. But from playing Call of Duty for nearly 20 years now, I've just concluded that Call of Duty 4 is a much better, well-designed game than most modern day ones. Even including some of the ones during the golden era that came after it. Literally every single Call of Duty game that came between Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2019 was just a blueprint of COD 4. And not to mention that it literally changed the FPS industry when it came out back in the day. Campaign was short, but also impactful, and the multiplayer was simple, but addicting. But if you're curious on my ranking of Call of Duty games in general, you can take a look at this list here, and feel free to pause if you so desire. What made you get into COD? What COD did you start with, and what would your perfect COD be like? Well, as I said, Call of Duty 4 was the first COD that I played. In terms of perfect COD, probably just COD 4, but with extra game modes, to be quite honest with you.
Gridiron. High speed. Capture the flag. King of the hill.
And regarding what actually made me get into Call of Duty, it was simply just that my brother bought an Xbox 360 in 2008, and I just wanted to play the game where you shoot people. Do you play Airsoft? I like your gear you have on. I've actually never played Airsoft before. I've always had an interest in trying it, but I've never actually played a skirmish match or anything like that, just shooting the guns in a back garden or something. Would you ever consider doing a video about any third modes in COD? Zombies, Extinction, or Spec Ops? Probably not, mainly because I think in terms of zombies from the original story of World at War Black Ops 4, all of that has been explored and explained, apart from maybe a few ciphers in some maps, but for the most part I think all the content you could make about zombies has been made. And regarding modern day zombies after Black Ops 4, it's not that interesting. Extinction could be cool to talk about, but at the same time, it's also not a very interesting mode. The story was pretty bland, and it wasn't as expansive as zombies, so there's not much there to actually talk about. And Spec Ops is just, well, Spec Ops. It's just a fun mode. It's nothing more than that, really. What is your favorite video game? If it's Call of Duty, then fave game other than COD. How long does it take you to make a video? And what's your favorite food? My favorite video game of all time is the first Super Mario Galaxy on the Nintendo Wii, and you can see my top 5 games of all time here in this picture. I'll put it on screen. How long does it take you to make a video? Depends on the video that I'm making. The YouTube shorts that I used to do for Call of Duty stuff would take me roughly 3 to 4 hours to make on average, regarding coming up with an idea, getting the footage, doing the voiceover, and then putting that all together. In regards to the longer form content like the Keegan video or the Ghost video, the Keegan video took me, I think, about 2 months to do. The Ghost video took roughly about 3 to 4 months, and then the next video that I'm doing right now has probably been roughly 4 months of time worked on it. So again, it just depends what kind of video I'm going to make, but that's just a rough guideline. What's my favorite food? What do you think the future of COD looks like? It seems they kinda got back on track with Modern Warfare 2019, but have gone off the rails again with the half-assed Modern Warfare 3 campaign. Do you think they will have some fresh new ideas or keep serving slop and focusing on microtransactions? I've actually noticed something about COD ever since they've decided to reboot, essentially, with Modern Warfare 2019, and I don't know if anybody else has clocked onto this, but I think what Activision is trying to do is just remake all those old COD games, essentially. So for example, Modern Warfare 2019 is a remake of COD 4, Call of Duty Vanguard is a remake of World at War, Modern Warfare 2 is a remake of Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops Cold War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 7 is going to be Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 3, and then Modern Warfare 4 could be a reboot of Ghosts. But I'm noticing a pattern here. So I think Activision is just going to do what the safe option is, pretty much, and not try to innovate anymore. Call of Duty has been this way for years, where they don't set the trends anymore, they follow trends. The last time they actually tried to make something original and new was with Modern Warfare 2019, because it did have a long-lasting effect on other FPS games. But I think Activision just wants to do the safest option that generates a lot of money. They don't really care about making good games anymore. I just got into playing Call of Duty. Got any tips? Heh. Oh, I got a tip alright. Don't you worry about that. Oh, you mean with... Oh. I guess if I had to give like 3 tips for playing Call of Duty or just getting into Call of Duty, firstly I would say don't listen to community opinion too much about Call of Duty games in general. Try to form your own opinion and stick to that. Secondly, I would say don't try too hard at multiplayer because it's not very fun anymore. If you do play it in a way that's fun for you, and don't be too obsessed with trying to become like the best player on the team all the time, with skill-based matchmaking in effect all the time, and it's the worst it's ever been. It really can just hinder your experience and just ruin the fun completely. So try not to take multiplayer too seriously and you'll save yourself years of stress. Lastly, I would say is just try to play the campaigns, all of them, because while some Call of Duty games don't have the best multiplayer experience, most of them have solid campaigns that a lot of people enjoy. So I would say you should give all the campaigns a try and just figure out which one is your favorite. What do you think on new Battlefield 6 coming out? What do you think is the best part of content creation and your favorite movie, I guess? Battlefield 6 is definitely going to be my FPS game for the year, and I'm definitely not playing Black Ops 7, I'll tell you that much. It's an addition to the FPS genre that is sorely needed right now in a market that is just dominated by Call of Duty and microtransactions. It really seems like EA and DICE and the other dev studios are trying to create a proper competition to Call of Duty and Halo, especially with Portal mode this year, because one thing people forget is that Call of Duty will never be able to implement a Portal style mode because they release a COD game every single year. So if they introduced a Portal mode once, they would have to introduce it for every single Call of Duty game regardless of how much dev time it gets. So Battlefield 6 is definitely going to be a strong contender this year for Call of Duty, and it's possible it could beat them in sales on a console or two. I still think in overall sales, Battlefield 6 will probably lose because Call of Duty is just way too mainstream compared to Battlefield. I could be wrong though. It'll be interesting to see. I also think that this could potentially be the point where Activision decides to drop the campaign remastered for Modern Warfare 3, if they see themselves losing on sales, that is, but we'll just have to wait and see. Favorite part of content creation is definitely the editing part, where I put everything in the software and put all the clips together, make some funny edits here and there. That's definitely the best part for me. It's where the creativity gets to shine the most, and it's where you can just have fun with things and just throw some effects in and make stupid clips. The worst part, I will say, is definitely script writing, because I'm naturally not a script writer. I didn't do well in English class at school. I was never good at essays and stuff like that, but I just try my best. And especially when you do long form content, it's a lot more tedious because you have to constantly read over the script and make sure it all flows properly and makes sense. But it's something to improve at. If you just keep doing it long enough, I'll eventually get better at it and understand how to actually write script properly, so I suppose there is some light at the end of the tunnel. For my favorite movie, I'm probably gonna go with Sinister on this one. When I first watched it in the early 2010s as a young teen, it completely changed the game for me. It was the movie that made me get into the horror genre, and horror is one of my favorite genres to ever exist. And I also looked at films differently from that point onwards in regards to how they were filmed, the audio, the music. I became interested in those sorts of areas with filmmaking, but also it tied into gaming as well, because those are aspects about games that I look into as well. So I think Sinister deserves to be my favorite movie because it pretty much changed me as a person from a young age. It's also scary as fuck. And the last question of the Q&A that I'm going to answer here is, in your opinion, did Black Ops 6 really deserve to fall off? And also, does Battlefield 6 really deserve the hype? Yes, absolutely. Black Ops 6 was a game of broken promises, honestly. It was marketed to be a 4-year development time game, which it didn't feel like when it launched. The gunplay was horrible, time to kill was way too slow, the maps were not very good on launch. Zombies was okay, but it didn't keep me intrigued for the entire year. And then ironically, they decide now to bring back the old cast of characters because they know that they're losing the zombies community. The campaign was marketed to take place during the Gulf War with all these world leaders at the time like Bill Clinton, Margaret Thatcher, Saddam Hussein, and yet they barely lean into the Gulf War itself. They just picked a setting because they didn't know where else to put it. It was definitely just a game that was disappointing to play through, and was clearly there were some lies in the marketing as well, which obviously we're not surprised by, it's Activision. Battlefield, on the other hand, is definitely worth the hype because it's had many years of development time. It has the most polished beta I've ever played for a video game. No crashes, no bugs, no visual glitches, nothing. The gunplay is very good, the maps are also good, it's going to be grounded, no crazy microtransactions, the single player seems interesting in its story and the setting, and with Vince Zampella, who's pretty much leading the project, or at least some of it, he's a guy with a lot of good reputation about him in the industry. He started with Medal of Honor, then he made the first 4 Call of Duty games, as well as Modern Warfare 2, then he made Titanfall, and then Apex Legends, so he definitely knows how to make a good first-person shooter. So I trust him and the rest of the teams to make a really good product, and I'm super excited for Battlefield. And that is it for the 20,000 subscriber Q&A. I appreciate everybody who has left questions on videos or on the post I put on the community tab. I didn't answer every single question because some of them sort of overlapped or sort of bundled together into one big question. But I imagine in the future, if I get more subscribers, I'll probably do another milestone Q&A like this one. In the meantime though, I think I'm gonna go create some more shitty content for you all, and I hope to see you all stick with me on this dumpster fire of a journey. But that is it from me. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and shout out to all the women.